Welcome back. Well, you might remember about a week or so ago, I went to Portland, Oregon, the first time I'd ever been to that city. It's a gorgeous city, although it has a terrible crime problem, homelessness problem. But I think one of the most dangerous feelings in that city is the street crime of a political nature. Antifa, the so-called anti-fascists who are quite fascist in their own conduct, they rule the streets. I was in that town because Andy No, an independent journalist who was beaten and nearly killed by Antifa, managed to identify some of the Antifa thugs who attacked him. They were actually captured on closed-circuit TV. And incredibly, one of them even videotaped her attacks on Andy No. It was all there, and I sat in the courthouse as the evidence was played for the jury, and as Andy No testified in great detail. It was shocking, and I felt like I was in a kind of mafia trial because Antifa had packed the court and were clearly menacing the jurors. In fact, at one point, one of the lawyers for Antifa said to the jurors, "I'll remember your faces." How is that not a threat? Well, it worked incredibly. Despite the video evidence, the incontrovertible evidence, the jury dismissed the suit. Antifa runs Portland. Well, good thing we don't live there, right? Well, here's the bad news. Antifa is putting down roots in Canada, too. They're strong in certain cities, Ottawa, Toronto, and especially Montreal. And joining us now in studio is our Montreal-based correspondent, our friend Alexa Lavoie, to talk about what she saw when she encountered Antifa and a few other protests she's been to lately. Alexa, great to see you. Welcome to our world headquarters here. Nice to see you in person.
Nice to see you too, Ezra.
Well, I wanted to tell that story because what I saw in Portland was what happens when neither the police, nor the media, nor the prosecutors, nor the juries, nor the judges will stand up to Antifa. Antifa runs Portland. It's actually terrifying. Can you tell us about Antifa in Montreal? We have a video clip. Set it up a little bit, and then we'll watch the video.
Yeah, it was the 5th of August. I was currently at a Canada Place. So it's the park where the statue of John A. Macdonald, who was toppled 2 years ago. And the Trans March was starting at this place. And afterwards, they were going to take a march to Place du Puy. So we went there, me and Guillaume Roy, my camera videographer, to just interview people about, I think, really important topic. And it's especially important to have not only the take on one side, but both sides, so we can actually understand more the vision of the people.
So this was a transgender march,
yeah.
But there were Antifa at the transgender march?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's take a look together at what happened.
I define myself as a non-binary degenerate.
I am a non-binary trans feminine person.
Moi, je suis une fière femme. Et bien de ces gens-là aimeraient bien que j'enlève ma moustache. Pourquoi? Ça fait partie de mon identité de genre.
Je pense que c'est dans ton intérêt de partir, malheureusement.
C'est pareil. Décollez de votre couverture de marde!
Allez, décoller!
Allez, bye!
Faites votre travail, puis évitez de me filmer, s'il vous plaît, puis de prendre mes
je suis dans le genre mes droits. On est au Canada, j'ai le droit de... Vous n'avez pas le droit de me toucher puis de me pousser.
Mettez pas le micro comme ça proche de moi, respectez la distance aussi avec moi.
J'ai une bonne distance avec vous, monsieur.
Fait que vous êtes avisé, on vous demande d'aller plus loin.
Pourquoi vous n'avez pas agi la première fois que je suis venue vous voir pour l'harcèlement qu'on subissait? Hey, écoutez, monsieur, je pense que je suis dans mon droit de vous poser des questions, hein?
That's so frustrating to me. So what I saw there was at first people were willing to talk to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, it's a protest. The whole point of a protest is to get publicity. And you gave them publicity. You pointed at them. You didn't maliciously edit it. I mean, listen, they said such unusual things. Why would we edit it? We want to show our people. But then they got a little violent, a little pushy and shovey, and they do that move with the umbrellas to block people from witnessing if they punch or, God forbid, even stab you. And the most incredible part, there were sort of 3 scenes there, wasn't it? The first scene was the trans people just talking about their ideas. The second was the Antifa getting a little violent, but the third was the most disappointing. That was a police officer at the end, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
threatening you, back off, or I don't know what the or else was, and then he ran away from you. Instead of protecting you, he was threatening you.
And this is actually what I noticed. I was like, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to interview some people. If some individual come to me and start to harass or causing trouble or confrontation, I'm going to go straight to the police, warn them that something is happening. If they can actually talk with these people and make sure that I am in a safe space, that I just question the people, they are free to answer to me. I'm not there to confront nobody. I'm just here to ask questions as what media do. And I went there, I talked with the police officer. They say that they will keep an eye on them, that I'm free to ask questions because we are in the public space. There is no problem there. And when I came back and say, can you please do something? It's when everything escalated. The Antifa came out, the pink bloc. I don't know if you ever heard about the pink bloc.
I've heard the black bloc. I haven't heard the pink bloc.
The pink bloc is anarcho-queer. So it's the queer people that are anarchists, but they are also in the movement of probably anti-fascists. So they came to us. They tried to block also our camera. They asked us to leave. They say that we were intimidating people there. But I say, but people were really open to talk to me.
I've known you for a couple of years. I do not think you've ever shown yourself to be intimidating. No. It's a lie. It's a lie.
But it seems that the Antifa movement, the anarchist movement, the left movement have hijacked the community people.
Right.
Because when I was reading on their website, they warn people, do not talk to media. Refer them to the people in charge of the protest or the march. They say they ban Rebel News and all the right-wing media, as they call it, because they say that we should not welcome them. But that just shows the intolerance and the fact that they do discrimination for media and they just welcome the media who are on their side, that is the state media.
But by the way, I think that the way we report on these protests is very fair. I think we often let the cameras run. We don't falsely edit things. There's no reason why they shouldn't talk to you. We do not alter or manipulate our coverage of it. And I think they're the intolerant ones. We have not done anything that would cause them to ban us. I don't know how you can ban a journalist from a public place other than through threats of violence. And that's what's disappointing about the police. Listen, I want to make sure that going forward, if you go to events like this, that we have private security for you also. Now, I understand what you're saying. There's all these police there. Any citizen should think, well, I'm safe because there's so many cops. But those cops were not going to help you. Did you have security, private security?
I didn't have some because I was, first of all, going with really a good mood, open mind, and people were really friendly with me. And as you can notice on the video, I was talking with one of the spokesperson for Québec Solidaire.
Oh, I remember her, Manon. Is that
Manon
her?
Massé.
That's right. I recognized her. And she's always been friendly to you. She's done interviews with you. I think on election night she did an interview or during the campaign.
Yeah.
So she's friendly.
She's friendly.
And she's very left-wing, but she's at least believes in dialogue.
Exactly. And every single person from the left should take her example. She's not afraid.
You've never misquoted her. You've never been unfair to her. You give, and I'm not saying our viewers are going to suddenly become hardcore leftists and support her, but that's part of the public debate.
Yeah. And I think it's in the public interest that people see the other side of the story from the people who are more leftist. In the park, I'm not even sure that everybody is from the left. I'm thinking that most of them are not really politically involved.
Exactly. Well, listen, it made sense to go to that event. You didn't think it would be dangerous. The police were there. But just in the future, nothing bad happened and the police were right there. But in the future, please, and I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying, let's get security to come with you because this is more proof that the police are becoming a little bit more like the police in Portland. So you didn't do anything wrong. I'm just saying for the future, if you go to a public thing like that, let's bring a private security guard for you also, because the thing about Antifa, they don't have the same compunction about hitting a woman or hitting someone smaller than them. And just to make me feel safer, it's for me. It's so I feel calmer. You obviously did fine. You did everything right. But just going forward, let's get you more protection. I'm worried because if they've got your name on a website, Don't Talk to Rebel News, they're obviously watching out for you.
Oh, they know me.
And I want to make sure that you're never in trouble. And Guillaume is there, our cameraman, but he's looking through his camera and maybe he doesn't see someone coming. All right, I'll stop talking about that. But that is a factor that Rebel News has to deal with, because our people are pushed around more than any other because we tell the truth. Okay, you've got 2 more clips. Why don't you introduce the next video clip and we'll show our viewers.
I went to the Pride Parade in Montreal. So supposed to be a really family-friendly event. So I went there and I noticed that CBC was in the parade and a lot of state organization, company, a corporation. There was also the famous fetish pet play. I don't know how to call
People
them.
who dress up as dogs.
Yes.
I find those really unusual. I guess that's a thing. I'm very sheltered, I guess. If here, let's just take a look. It's just so in here. Welcome to your world in 2023. Let's take a look.
A man that dresses up like a woman a few times a year.
So do you find that the Pride Parade is a family-friendly event?
Sometimes.
What do you mean by sometimes?
It depends on how like sexually explicit the performers are during the dances and the shows.
Pet.
Okay.
I identify as like a furry, a cat. So I think I'm just representing that within the parade.
Since when you started to identify yourself as a pet?
It's been 15 years ago.
But this sort of thing, middle of the afternoon, the parade, I think it's a great educational experience for kids, and bring it on.
That's more than just a few. Like, that's a lot. Now, I'm not implying that you're an expert on this. Do they think they're dogs, or is it just like dressing up as a cop or dressing up? Like, I remember there was a band about 40 years ago called the Village People. They sang the song YMCA, and one of them dressed as a cop, and one dressed as an Indian, and one dressed, I forget what they dressed up as, but it was like just a costume, like Halloween. Is this just a costume, or do these people actually identify as a dog? Is this part of their sexual gender identity? I am a dog?
I think there is both. So there is some people who like to play, pet play, that they say you have like the person who are submissive and the person who are dominant. So this is actually a sexual fetishism. I saw myself, a woman that say that since 15 years, she identifies herself as a cat. So I think you have both in this, I would call it a whole world.
Oh my God. You know what? I shouldn't laugh, because I know in the city of Toronto, there are schools where school children identify as cats, and they put kitty litter in the bathrooms.
Oh.
It's madness. I think you have one more video, because you saw some political leaders there. Let's take a quick look at this last video. Well, every progressive politician is in the Gay Pride Parade, I'm sure. It wouldn't surprise me if Justin Trudeau was there, or did he miss it?
No, it was Stephen Guilbeault and Melanie Joly that were there for marching, and of course Jagmeet Singh. Right. I'm surprised Jagmeet Singh removed his really expensive watch and he didn't wear like his really expensive suit.
Did he have his Sikh bracelet on?
I didn't see any bracelet or anything.
It's very, very interesting. And let me ask you one last question about that Pride Parade. In some gay Pride parades across Canada, police march with the protest. In some, police protect the protest. In others, police are banned from the protest. Were police banned from this one? Do you know?
I know that there was some people who were wearing some sign against the police.
Right.
I saw some security who were protecting people for not going in the middle of the path.
Right.
But I didn't see that much cop. I saw that there was a lot of cop, but they were in the metro, they were in the street, they were, but not that much inside.
Okay.
Of the
I'm just curious
parade.
because in some cities, I think Vancouver, for example, they banned police, which is certainly not very inclusive or very tolerant. We live in the strangest of days. Those dog uniforms, I'm just curious, but I don't think I'm going to look into it. I think I've had enough drama for the day. Listen, Alexa, it's great to see you. Stay safe out there. You're in a city with a little bit of wackiness in it. And staying safe is very important to us because people, even though we don't provoke it and we don't deserve it, sometimes they hit out at us because we have a different point of view. That used to be called diversity, but it's not allowed. So I want you to be safe, and I know you will be. And with Guillaume, and when you need to, let's have a bodyguard with you out there. It's great to see you in person.
Great to see you.
All right, there you have it, Alexa Lavoie, our chief Quebec correspondent. Stay with us. Your letters to me next.